there were concrete reports that Noni Madueke would potentially be joining Arsenal. We now know this evening that those reports have been firmed up. We have a report by Fabrizio Romano which confirms that Noni Madueke is set to join Arsenal. A fee has been agreed. We heard earlier in the week that Noni had agreed personal terms with Arsenal. He'd spoken with Arteta. There has been an agreement that he would want to join Arsenal. Could the two clubs come to an agreement? Again, seems like they both have a very, very friendly relationship, and it seems like the deal has been done in excess of 50 million. I believe it's going to be around 50.25 million plus add-ons. And again, there's been a lot of uproar. Listen, the Arsenal fan base has been split badly. I'll probably say probably 80-20 at one point. It was really bad. There was a petition saying don't sign Noni Madueke, and it comes from a number of reasons that we've covered previously. Obviously, joining from Chelsea, some people have seen his performances, haven't been overly impressed. I'm someone who's seen the player, obviously watched him from all the way back in PSV, and obviously seen him in Chelsea. Did struggle at parts at Chelsea, has played well. The consistency hasn't been there in large parts, but I think he has pushed on recently, and he's a player that I think can also give Arsenal a lot. And we'll get into it from a stats point of view. We know it will be a lot of pressure on him joining Arsenal again. A big move for him joining from a London rival. Big money has been paid. What his role will be is still yet to be defined. He can play on both wings, as we've covered before, predominantly on the right wing, looked at as being probably backup or rotation for Saka. I think that makes Arsenal very, very dangerous now. If you have someone like Noni who can, progress the ball very, very well, pick the ball up, dribble, he will come in at Arsenal as being one of the best dribblers. He will be someone who can carry the ball very, very well. Next to Saka, I would say he's probably one of the best dribblers at Arsenal. And so this gives Arsenal another threat, another attacking piece that they can add and that they don't have at this present point. And again, the pressure will be on. That's why I like this as well. Not only on Noni, the pressure will be on Mikel Arteta. The pressure will be on Berta, the club. This is a player that you wanted to go and sign. You have to prove this was the right signing. You also have to prove what else are you going to do in the market. Arsenal fans, I think, would accept this a lot more if you then go and get an Eze or you get a Rodrigo and you get a Gokanes. That is what would be acceptable to an Arsenal fan. So that this deal seems more acceptable. I think again it will be tough to swallow because some people have their own view on Noni. I have my view. I think he's someone who has bags of potential. If he applies himself, he will be an absolute star at Arsenal. If he doesn't, then we will be in trouble. And he has to get off to a very, very fast start. So we'll look through some of the information very, very quickly. Looking at Noni again, looking at his profile, he did perform actually pretty well last season, comparable to the people close to him in terms of the people around him. He wasn't far off. He wasn't far off Martinelli's numbers last season. Again, Martinelli wasn't performing to the level that he should have. Noni's numbers were close, playing I think 300 or so less minutes, and so the potential to contribute to a top club is there. Chelsea were a good attacking team last season. Arsenal have the potential to do a lot of things, especially with the ball, and I think he's someone who can add to that. So he had a good season last season. Looking at him as a player, carrying the ball up the pitch is where he excels. His dribbling, his ability to pick up the ball and move it up the pitch will be a big added value to Arsenal and the way they play, because that's something that they often struggle with. They pass the ball around the pitch and there's nobody who can take a player one-on-one. There's nobody who can essentially beat a player outside of Saka sometimes, it feels. And Noni will add to that. He will be someone who can break down a fullback who is dangerous. And yes, that may not always result in a goal, but it could result in a corner. It could result in a piece of link-up play. So the possibilities are endless in that regard. Again, taking on players is one of his strengths, and getting the ball in key positions is one of his strengths. And so I think he's an intelligent attacking player who will add to Arsenal. And he has the ability to also excel in a number of different areas. And what I mean by that is, yes, last season he got 7 goals. He had actually the opportunity to get a lot more. So if he can improve his finishing, if he can start to take more of those chances, he can see himself climb up and probably get himself into the double digit figures in terms of goals scored. His ability as a creator is there also, not excessively. He will obviously rely on the ability of linking up with players such as Martin Odegaard, Saka, for example, or Declan Rice to support him. But again, we talk about him on the ball, talk about his ability to get the ball inside the opposition's box. It is elite. It is one of the best in the league. And he shows his ability there once again. So I understand where people are coming from when it comes to Noni. And listen, he wasn't my first choice coming into the summer. Although as fans, I don't think we were overly concerned with getting a Saka back up. We knew the clear positions we wanted, but one of the key things I think Mikel Arteta has identified is that he needs a backup for Saka. He needs somebody who is adaptable, malleable, potentially, who can play on the right, who can play on the left, who will be an attacker, who will carry the ball forward and attack people. I think that's more what Mikel Arteta is looking for, players who will break down the opposition, and he's chosen Noni Madueke as his winger. It will be interesting to see how it plays out. And again, if you're a fan who feels positively about it, if you're a fan who feels negatively about it, I understand both points of view. However, with the player joining the club, I would just say no need to abuse him, no need to make him feel unwelcome. If he's going to be an Arsenal player, back him until he gives you a reason not to. If that means you judging him after a certain number of games, then I completely understand it. But again, as he's coming in as a new player, I think we should all give him the chance that he deserves. Noni Madueke looks set to be joining Arsenal. We can see it already, it's trending. They're saying, welcome, Noni. Arsenal have a new winger. Guys, I want to hear your opinions. Are you team Noni in? Are you team Noni out? What do you think Arsenal should be doing next? Is Eze the right person to come in and support Arsenal going forward? Are you happy with the Gokeres progress? Do you think Arsenal need to be moving faster? I want to hear it all, guys. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.